All right, today we are going to be talking about Module 2, Topic 3. So we've already talked about the highway transportation system and how we approach the vehicle in Module 2, Topics 1 and 2. So now we're going to talk about adjusting the vehicle for you. So at the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand and sequentially demonstrate those pre-driving procedures and key concepts or skills included to, how we get ourselves ready with the Virginia occupant protection laws as far as the seat belts and the seat adjustment and the steering wheel and all those things. And then we're going to be able to properly adjust that vehicle for the operator to be able to safely drive. All right. So as we adjust the vehicle, first thing we want to think about is making sure that the parking brake is set. As we're doing any sort of adjustments, we obviously don't want the car to roll away. Don't want to accidentally put our foot on the gas pedal, so making sure that that parking brake is set. Sometimes it is a little pedal down on by your gas and brake. It's on the far left side and it will say parking brake. Or some cars have a parking brake lever in between the driver's seat and the passenger seat. Just depends on what kind of parking brake your car has. Place your cell phone in the glove box so it is not a distraction for you while driving and or setting up anything in your car. First pre-drive procedure is to make sure that the doors are locked. As I mentioned before, as we approach the vehicle, you don't know who's watching you and or trying to, get into your car as you get into your car, things like that. So right away, the minute I get in there, I want to make sure I lock those doors so that I'm safely secure inside and nobody's getting in with me. If you have a car where the key goes in the ignition, you are going to place the key in the ignition. Some cars nowadays don't have that. It's just a push button start. The key just has to be in the car. So just put the keys in a spot that isn't going to be a distraction for you and they aren't going to like fly around or fly off the dashboard or anything like that. Adjust your seat for your proper seat adjustment, which we'll talk about in a minute. Adjust your mirrors. We are also going to go in great length about this. We are going to adjust our mirrors to the BGE mirror setting, which stands for blind zone glare elimination. You're going to adjust your head restraint, the fifth thing, and the last one is fasten your seatbelt. So those seat adjustments, allow at least 10 inches between your chest and the steering wheel. This allows for the airbag to deploy if you are in an accident any closer and you run at risk that the airbag isn't going to have time to deploy to prevent your chest from hitting the steering wheel. Your driver's heel should be able to pivot smoothly between the gas and the brake pedal, so make sure that you have an adequate space there. The angle of the seat back should fit the driver's visual needs and help you maintain vehicle control. So if you want a little bit more cocked back, that's fine as long as you can still see everything around your car and in front of your car. Place your back and shoulders against the back of the seat. Your knees should bend slightly as you're seated in that car. Rest your right heel on that floorboard between the brake and the accelerator to make sure that you can transition smoothly between the two. Make sure you're sitting high enough so the top of the steering wheel is between your shoulders and your chin. Use a secured seat cushion if needed to raise your seat height. So if you're a little bit shorter, you can use a seat cushion to raise yourself up. And rest your left foot on what we call the dead pedal. So oftentimes there is like a little space there that is built into your car. It's actually part of the car frame. It kind of feels like a pedal, but it's not a pedal, right? This is just a nice comfortable spot for me to rest my left foot so that I'm not using it. Like I said, the dead pedal is located on the floorboard to the left in the picture shown here. This is what an example of that might look like. It maintains that driver balance and stability, and it helps keep your left foot away from the brake and accelerator or the clutch if you are using a manual vehicle. Tilt or adjust your steering wheel or so that it is obviously facing your chest area. You want to make sure that it is proper for you. So this one may need an adjustment because maybe your parents who drive the car as well are a little bit taller than you. So typically there's a little lever on the left-hand side of the steering wheel that tilts it up and down to ensure that it is properly placed. Like I said, make sure you sit with your chest no closer than 10 inches from that steering wheel to allow for the airbag to deploy. You want to make sure that the steering wheel airbag aims at your chest area and that the top of the wheel is no higher than your chin. You are going to place your hands on the steering wheel at 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock. This is a little bit different than what your parents were taught. Your parents were taught to hold it at 10 and 2. So if we were looking at a clock, your hands should be placed where it is right here on the steering wheel, whereas your parents typically hold them on the top of the steering wheel because that's how they were taught. Modern day research shows that the 8 and 4 o'clock is a safer hand placement on your steering wheel. All right. Use your mirrors in the following situation. So you want to make sure you adjust your mirrors properly. So when you're stopping, when you're turning, when you're changing lanes, and to see the lanes to the right and left of you are when we're going to use those mirrors. All right, so we want to make sure that they are adjusted properly. The traditional mirror setting leaves large areas that cannot be seen in the mirrors on both sides of the vehicle. This is what we call a blind spot. All right. The driver must turn their head significantly to check their blind spot, which means if I'm turning my head to the left or right, I'm taking my eyes off the road. So research once again has shown that the traditional mirror setting, which is probably how your parents set their mirrors, is not safe anymore. So we are going to use what's called the blind zone glare elimination setting. This is an enhanced side mirror setting that allows you to see more of your blind zone areas. So when you go to take behind the wheel, you are going to need to know how to set it in the BGE mirror setting because that is what's going to be expected of you for behind the wheel and your road test. All right. So adjusting that side mirror, so this left side mirror, after setting those side mirrors to that BGE mirror setting, the driver should be able to see the lane next to the vehicle and a small area of the rear of the vehicle. All right. So the rear view mirror, like I said, is going to help me see what's behind my vehicle. And it is typically going to give you an area of about 200 feet to the rear of your vehicle. So you want to make sure that you're kind of seeing out the middle of that back window. And then this right side mirror is going to see just a little bit of the back of your car as well, but a large space to the right of my car. So to set my mirrors for the BGE mirror setting, on the left side, I'm going to lean my head left towards that driver's side window, and I'm going to set my mirror so that I barely show the rear edge of my vehicle. So in picture 1 here, you can see exactly what she's doing. Picture 2 is showing how I'm going to set my right mirror. So I'm going to lean my head right towards the center of the vehicle, about even with that rear view mirror. And I'm going to set my far passenger side mirror so that I barely show the rear edge of the vehicle as shown in picture 2. All right. Traditional mirror setting, like I said, this is probably how your parents are setting their mirrors versus the BGE mirror setting. Notice how much more space we're able to see to the right and left of my car without having to turn my head to do so. There are some pretty good videos in here as well. I would like you to watch those on your own time. It shows you how to set the mirrors, and one of your assignments for this module, one of your major summatives, is going to be demonstrating that as well. Next, I want to adjust the head restraint. So a head restraint that is too low or too far back will not protect your head and neck in a crash. So the 4 images below illustrate a typical impact of what would happen if I'm in a car accident. Okay. I want to make sure that I adjust the head restraint so that the correct position minimizes the head and neck injuries and doesn't cause whiplash. So adjust the head restraint so the head is level with the ears. So kind of showing here what that looks like. It should be less than 4 inches from the head so that I don't have a lot of sway back and forth if I'm in a collision either from the front or behind. And then I want to adjust my safety belt. Safety belts are designed so that the force in a crash is absorbed by the strongest skeletal bones of the body, which include your hip bone or your pelvis, your chest or sternum area, and your shoulders. All right. You want to make sure you sit with your shoulders and lower back firmly against the seat. Pull the belt snugly across your rib cage and the bony pelvic area. Like I said, it's a really large area, which is going to be a strong bone if I'm in an accident. I'm going to secure the latch and make sure I adjust the seatbelt height with those movable anchors so it doesn't rub against my neck. If we're in an accident and the seatbelt is cutting against my neck, it's going to cause probably a pretty severe laceration or something like that. Check your passengers' belts for a proper fit as well. Make sure everybody in your car is properly belted. Passengers younger than 12 are safer sitting in the rear seat, so please make sure that's where they are seated. Infants must always be secured in a rear-facing rear seat restraint. Booster seats provide a correct position for certain children to wear those adult safety belts as they grow a little bit taller. So if that's something that is acceptable for people in your car, make sure that they are secured properly with that seat belt as well. There are certain safety belt laws throughout the United States, so please make sure you're aware of what those are. Here in Virginia, it's what's called a secondary enforcement. I think this was recently changed this year. I want to say in 2025 they changed it so that everybody in the front seat is required to wear a safety belt, and I think those 16 and younger are required to be belted as well. I don't believe that it is a secondary offense anymore. So I will have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure those dark blue states, it is a primary offense, which means you can get pulled over for not having a seatbelt on. And I believe that was literally just changed in July 1st of 2025 here. So it is a primary enforcement, I know, in the front seat for everybody in your car. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day.